like fishing, trapping, camping, man, that's living, spending time in the great outdoors.
Welcome back to the Ohio Valley Outdoors Show on ESPN 1240 and News Talk 600. Hey, if you ever need any help at all with state and federal gun law, gun trusts or firearms estate planning, concealed carry issues, or even firearms rights restoration, you need to contact the law office of Derek DeBross. He's just an expert in Ohio gun law. You can give him a call at 614-316-7850 or visit his website, ohiogunlawyer.com. The law office of Derek DeBross, they focus on the defense and preservation of your Second Amendment rights. Larry, who we got coming in now?
Well, we got Shane Eisenhower, and we'll talk with him. He's a waterfowl expert. And Shane, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, great. I'm going to read the things here, then you can tell us a little bit about it. But Shane is coming to us from West Virginia. He's a state chairman for Ducks Unlimited in the state of West Virginia. He's also a KES Waterfowlers Pro Staffer, Team Migration Ender, which we'll have him explain that, and newly Beretta Pro Staffer. So first off, tell us a little bit about yourself and make sure you get in there Team Migration Ender, because I don't know what that is.
Well, first of all, Team Migration Ender it's all about us showing our product and ending the migration, which is basically just the selling point for our calls.
Oh, okay.
So how the ducks and geese migrate, so we just pretty much say we're the migration ender.
There we go.
So that's a pretty bold statement for us. just like our company name, KES, Knock 'em Stiff.
Okay. So that's what that acronym stands for. Yeah, when I read the Team Migration Ender, I kind of had a feeling what that was about. But okay, and Knock 'em Stiff, I can dig it.
Now a little bit about myself. I'm 38 years old. I grew up in Southern Illinois, been waterfowl hunting for over 30 years now, chasing waterfowl. Grew up hunting with my dad. There's no better place in the field than in a duck blind. You meet so many good friends. Got a wife and two beautiful daughters. One's already in college, and the other one's soon to be in college. So I was in the military for 6 years during the first Persian Gulf War. And after that, I came back and started back doing what I love, and that's just chasing waterfowl.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. And tell us a little bit about your state chairman for Ducks Unlimited and other pro staffs. You got to be pretty busy, but how do you find time to hunt, Shane?
It's very, very hard. The Ducks Unlimited state chairman job is really a demanding position. We got so many chapters out there we got to look after to try to keep, finding money for the ducks, for conservation. Then you add in there the show schedule for pro staffs for KES, Beretta, Carlson, Flambeau. Then you really, really are on a time schedule to spend with your family, and that's where family comes in that supports you, and I've got one of them, so I'm lucky.
That's great. That's great. You talked a little bit about. Tell us a little bit about the Ducks Unlimited, like the chapters in the different states in this area. How many chapters are there, even in your state?
We are currently at 15 chapters in West Virginia, which we're around 1,500 members in West Virginia now, which has grown by about 500 in the last 3 years.
That's great.
So we're increasing here. Now, Ohio's a lot more. They have a lot more waterfowl-based areas, so there is more chapters through DU there, and they have more members. Now, overall, Ducks Unlimited is around 700,000 members.
Wow. That's a strong force.
Yes, it is. And a lot of people don't realize Ducks Unlimited is a volunteer-based organization.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's volunteers that run it and make it happen. So, and a lot of people don't realize that Ducks Unlimited, along with Delta, put the money out there to help conservation, to help hunters each year, because if we didn't have these two organizations, along with others, the hunters wouldn't have the means or the ducks to hunt or chase waterfowl.
Right, exactly. And I know with the oil spill down in Louisiana a few years ago, I know they called Ducks Unlimited to for help, and I know that they responded.
Yes, they did, with full force, and it was impressive of what DU did to help out with the oil spill.
Right.
Shane, right now, here in Ohio, we're in the middle of waterfowl season, and in the different segments. What's the feedback you've been hearing?
Not good. The north zone's in right now. The south zone comes in December 17th. The north zone's in. They're just the weather's not been right for duck hunters this year. Well, it's been too warm, too much water. So any birds that's in the area are spread out.
Mm-hmm.
They're spotty. So what really needs to happen right now is, and it's like with every other state, is we need the north zones like Canada, North Dakota, Wisconsin, all them to freeze up to push any birds down.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we have very few birds around. That's Ohio, West Virginia, both. I mean, it's just very few. A lot of local birds.
And for our listeners that aren't really familiar with the waterfowl season, explain the zones and segments and how that works to them.
Well, the zones, West Virginia don't have zones. Ohio has zones, north and south zones, and this is just created because of how waterfowl migrates.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives, the north zones time to, that's when the birds are there, so they open the seasons earlier up in the north zones.
Okay.
And it allows, so what happens when they open the seasons early, if they opened it during the state at the same time, the whole state, which means the southern zones wouldn't have no birds. So they're just wasting their days of field,
Mm-hmm.
which in turn lose money for the state, is what it's all about.
Okay.
So you wouldn't have as many hunters out there. So they create zones, that way they can open up the south zone a little later date. That gives the birds a chance to move down, to migrate down south.
So it's really a way of regulating the season based on the migration of the birds.
That's exactly right.
That sounds like a pretty good idea. Hey, and now you mentioned West Virginia doesn't have zones, but how's the duck and goose hunting? I mean, right now you said it's been, spotty and not that good, but what's your forecast for the remainder of the season?
There was a big hatch. DU's population, what they go through, there was a good hatch up north in the duck factory. But like I said, in West Virginia, we have to see a lot of freezing up north in the surrounding states for us to get the migration to come through here. They basically follow one path, and that's just down along the Ohio River. So pretty much everything has to freeze for us to get a big concentration of birds. If not, we see local birds, a lot of local geese. We have a lot of local geese, and which is down from the previous years because of all the rain we had this spring. So that their hatch here local wasn't that good. But, we need to see a lot of freezing up north in order for us to see more birds. So I don't see a real good improvement until closer to Christmas, going into January.
Mm-hmm. Now, how's too much water affect the hatch?
Well, the birds, if it floods, where these birds have their hatches in the tall grasses outside of ponds,
Mm-hmm.
in the outer limits of the pond. So if it floods, it just, it floods the eggs and it kills the eggs, and the birds leave so they can't raise a nest. Now, some species of, like geese and ducks, they will hatch a second time.
Oh, okay.
They'll breed the second time and rehatch, but not all the time. So a lot of water has a big effect on waterfowl,
Mm-hmm.
on their hatch.
So it's just really the flooding their nests.
Yes, just completely devastating their nest. It just destroys their nest, and the birds won't come back to it. So pretty much the eggs that they have are gone.
Mm-hmm. And what's the the amount of reproduction, say, on average per single bird?
You talking as
How many? I guess how many eggs do they lay, and how many of them actually hatch and get to through survival.
I'm not sure the percentages on all of them, but on just an average, I think the goose could have up to like 10 to 12 eggs.
Okay, that many.
I would, yeah, up to that many, and I would say probably the hatch out of that is probably 8.
Okay.
The amount that lives is probably down to 3 or 4.
Right. Yeah. So when we do have all that rain, I mean, that could really put a damper on things, huh?
Yes, a lot.
Okay. And you're a pro staffer with Beretta. They've got a new waterfowl gun out. Tell us about that.
Yeah, they do. It's called the A400 Extreme, and they brought it out for the waterfowler, but it also does for upland. It shoots any load. And what the major point with this gun was the kickoff. And the kickoff is up to 70% more than any other shotgun on the market. And it provides extreme comfort in the stock.
Mm-hmm.
The kickoff is an integral design and comes mostly on all standard models, but this has got like a 2 kickoff system to it. So, and that's what the Mega is. It's got microcore. It's aqua technology, which means it's corrosion-proof barrier. It's got the Optima HP bore, which gives a great ballistic performance, for still shot. And it shoots any shot shell out there right now, lead, steel, from 2 3/4 all the way to 3 1/2.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Hey, Shane, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, let's pick up on talking about that new Beretta waterfowl gun. You're listening to the Ohio Valley Outdoor Show on ESPN 1240 and News Talk 600.
And now